What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today my hair is sitting weird and it's bothering me. How are you? But more to the point, today I'm here to do two looks with the NATASHA DENONA Love Palette. A few of you guys requested this and I thought, being that it's about to be February, it'll probably already be February when you guys see this video, a few Valentine's Day-ish, lovey theme-ish looks wouldn't friggin' kill me. Personally, Valentine's Day is not my favorite holiday aesthetically. I mean, who could argue with the idea of celebrating love? Obviously that's a nice thing, but just as far as like the colors and like the theme of it all, I just don't get super inspired by it. However, as you guys know, I like to take on the challenge of making looks that I actually really like with things that don't necessarily inspire me to begin with. That being said, the colors in this palette in particular are actually really pretty and I think are on the more interesting side as far as love-themed Valentine's-y palettes are concerned. As far as NATASHA DENONA palettes are concerned, I don't buy a lot of them, okay? And do you know why? Do you know why? Because holy shart, they are quite expensive. But sometimes she comes out with these smaller palettes. They're not smaller in number of shadows, but the pan size is a bit smaller and the price point is a little bit more reasonable. $65 is still fairly pricey for a palette, but it's a pill that I can swallow. Once we get over $100 for a palette, your girl's out. I'm done. I'm not here for it. So I like to take the chance when the small ones come out to dip into the NATASHA DENONA formula, because although I do not think it is worth hundreds of dollars, I do like it. I do think the ColourPop one that just came out is even more interesting. It almost gives me like an anti-Valentine kind of vibe. We will be doing looks with that as well, but for now, this, I think we can have a good time with this. As always, I'll link everything you need to know in the description down below. So products used outside of this palette, timestamps to each of the looks, just whatever else you may have curiosities about, it's probably down there. Book club, the week of February 9th, information about that is down below as well. Feel free to take a second to leave a like on this video if you don't mind, because I find it super helpful. And if you are not subscribed yet, subscribe for more makeup videos. Subscribe if you like just hanging out and talking about lipstick and eyeshadow and shit. Subscribe if you've ever been at a traffic light and you picked your nose and the guy next to you or the lady next to you caught you doing it. It's happened to me too. I'm here for you. We're gonna get through this together. Subscribe if you like really spicy food but it hurts your stomach but you keep eating it anyway, because again, me too. Me too. Yes, that did happen this morning. That's all of the pertinent information. Wow, yeah, my spicy stomach is the pertinent information. That's all the important stuff that we need to talk about before we get into it. So let's just get into it. This look number one with the NATASHA DENONA Love Palette. So this is the NATASHA DENONA Love Palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. And as far as my plan is concerned, what I'm going to do with this, at least for the first look, I'm trying to go into this with like a loose idea. I kind of want to just dip into these colors and see where the road takes me. Also, I mentioned this on Instagram stories, but I'll mention it here too. And I mentioned it in my last video. I can't find my Sigma E36 brush, and I'm pretty sure that I don't know how to do makeup without it, so I'm gonna do my absolute best today. But if you're like, wow, Nicole, you're not as good as usual, well, that's why. So I'm gonna start the look by going into the color Intense on my BH number 6. I'm gonna start just softly placing that in the high crease area. I'm gonna bring a little bit of that up like right into the eyebrow as well, in the inner corner, like right here. You know what I'm talking about. On my MAC 221 brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Heart. I'm gonna put that around the same area, but more toward the crease. I'm gonna go into the shimmer shade Giving on a flat brush, and I'm gonna put that on like the inner portion of the lid. Will I need to wet it? Time will tell. No, maybe. Maybe? Let's wet it. Let's see what happens. Okay, wetting is better. I feel like in person, this looks really pretty, but when I look at it on the camera over here and here and here, it looks like nothing, and I don't know why. So I'm doing that on about the inner half. And then I'm gonna go into the shade Passion on the same brush, put that on the outer half. I'm gonna take my MAC 221 again and go back into Heart and put that through the crease once again, just to make sure that red is still nice and solid. I'm gonna touch up those two shimmers by using a little bit more of them on my finger and see if that applies a little better, because they're pretty shades, but I also feel like they're a little bit like, I don't know, they're lacking something. They're lacking a little bit of punch here, in my opinion. I'm also going to take my finger and go into a little bit of the shade Transparent and just use that to highlight right in the center of the lid. It'll sort of bridge the gap between those two shades, but also give it a little bit of a pop of light there, so it brings it forward. So I sort of like what we have going on here with like this floating red crease that's not really attached to anything under here. But what I do want to do is add a little bit of definition to the lash line. So I'm going to take my MAC 228S brush and I'm going to go into the shade Commitment. I'm just going to push that along the outer part of the upper lash line, just to kind of like almost use it as a very soft liner, create a little bit of depth and lift and all of those good things that eyeliners do without actually using an eyeliner. I concealed and powdered, and now it's time to work on the lower lashes. Why was that so hard to get out of my mouth? Oh. I'm going to take this Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush. I'm going to go into the shade Intense. I'm going to use that to softly define the lower lashes a little bit, but I don't want it to come up and exactly meet that top half. I'm literally leaving like a sliver of like a negative space gap right there, just like the smallest little bit. I'm going to take my NABLA small pencil brush and I'm going to go into Heart. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push it a little closer to the lower lashes though, and just flick it out, leaving just a little sliver of negative space between the two. And I'm gonna use a clean brush to just blend the underneath part of that and bring it into like a pointier point at the end. I'm just freehanding this shape right now, but if you want to do this and you don't think that you would be able to freehand it, what you can do is do your best to make the shape and then use like an angled brush or an eyeliner brush just to cut the shape and make it cleaner with some concealer. On a clean pencil brush, I'm going to go into the shade Lifetime. I'm going to use that to highlight the inner corner. For the waterline, I want to open it up, sort of continue the line that we created with this little bit of negative space right here. So I'm going to go through the waterline with my Tarte Fake Awake pencil, just a nice creamy nude. And I'm just flicking that out past the corner of the eye so that it actually does connect with that negative space. Well, that's fun. Huh, look at us. I finished up my skin and I added House of Lashes Stella Luxe because I felt like that flare would go well with these. And for the lip, I kind of want a pink and red ombre that's going to almost match what we have on the eyes. So first I'm going to line my lips with Melt Ambrosia. And I'm going to fill it in with the Melt lipstick in Pink Heels. And this is the first look. For look number 2, I want this to be the smoky, sultry, dark, deep, rich, vibey version of a Valentine's Day look. I think we may need a little bit of help to get there. The colors in this palette and the colors from Natasha Denona in general are a little bit more diffused by nature. It doesn't have that like bold in your face type of color that you would expect from like a Norvina Pro Pigment palette or something. But in order to get that type of effect, if it's what you want, you just need to employ some other little extra products here and there, and you can also kind of get that result. So that's what I'm going to try for today. I'm going to take my BH number 6, and I'm going to go into the shade Heartbeat. I have to say that the matte shades in here are gorgeous. Like, they go on so even and then blend out really, really evenly and soft. It's very, very nice to work with. I'm going to blend the edge of that with a clean brush. And if you notice, I'm not flicking the end out. I'm trying to go for a more round shape today. I want to be like if you took Gerard Way on a Valentine's Day date, but also he was a girl on YouTube in 2019. Do you know the vibe? You know the vibe. On my MAC 221S, I'm going to go into a little bit of the shade Heart, and I'm going to blend that along the outer edge to just like amp up the redness of it. Just sort of let that blend out into a warmer tone. I'm doing little circular motions because that's a great way to get a blend without spreading the product too far. I'm going to deepen the lid with a black base. I could use this black base by itself. It doesn't need a primer under it, but I already primed my eyes, so I'm just gonna go over the top of it. I'm gonna use the Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit. This is the shade Bat Temper. It was from their Halloween collection. You can just use any black liquid shadow, black cream shadow, even like a black brow pomade or something like that if you have it. And I'm only gonna do this on the inner and outer corner. I'm gonna leave the middle open. And then I'm gonna grab a pencil brush and just blend the edge of that out a little. We're gonna put other shades over it, so the blend here does not need to be flawless or anything, but if you get rid of the harsh edge, it will make your life a lot simpler in a few minutes, my dude. Now that that black color is down, I'm going to go back into the shade Heartbeat, which I think is beautiful, by the way. It also matches my sweater quite lovely. How would you lovelily? It does a lovely job of matching my sweater. I'm taking that on a BH number 7. I'm just going to put more of that through the crease to blend that black in, just soften it out and just deepen up the crease a little bit further. On a Real Techniques shading brush, I'm going to go into the shade Passion. And I'm going to put that right over that black, but keep it more toward the center. I'm not bringing that all the way into the crease. Just right there, like right before the empty spot. This color looks so much better over a black base than it did by itself in the last look. And then on a pencil brush, I'm going to go into the shade Commitment. I'm going to put it over the remainder of that black, even going so far as to bring it into the crease. This shade kind of reminds me of the, I think they're called vinyl mats from NABLA. They're like sort of shimmery, but not shimmery enough that they actually look shimmery. They just have like a little bit of almost like a wet sheen to them. And again, picking up that same number 7 brush with a little bit of Heartbeat on it and just blending it together. Right now, this looks like a hot ass mess, but I promise it's gonna come together. I swear, I can see it. I can see the vision. Okay, so we left this little space open right here for a reason. I'm gonna make a little spotlight area, and because I want to neaten this look up and make it more crisp, I'm gonna do that with some concealer on a cut crease brush. I'm just gonna tap the edge of that concealer in with my finger. And I want to keep this like really skinny up here, so I'm just going to tap the edge of that with a pencil brush instead of my finger so I have a little bit more control over it. Before I move on to the cleaning up underneath my eye phase, I just want to point out that a few of these shades gave me quite a bit of fallout. I will add just a little bit of extra powder under there when I do the bottom, because that way I can just sweep it away. You know, personally, I don't love baking. I don't love the way it looks. What I like to do is put that little bit of powder not quite under my eye, like not like up here where it would cause my concealer to look more dry and like sit in like my under eye creases. I'll put that powder lower so that when the fallout like hits the cheekbone area, it hits that powder and I can sweep it away, but it also is not affecting the direct under eye area, if that makes sense. For the center of the lid, I'm going to go into this pretty purple shifting shade called Pure Love. I'm picking that up on a MAC 242 brush, and I'm just going to start by placing it right directly in the center of the lid. I'm going to use the shape of that brush to edge it up against that concealer cut that we did. I'll grab a little bit more of Passion and just kind of tap back over the sides of that so that way it blends them together. And finally, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to go into a little bit of the shade Transparent, and I'm going to pop that right in the center of the lid with my finger. And again, tap back over with the surrounding shades to blend. I really don't like to toot my own horn, but toot, motherfucking toot, bitch, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and go through my waterline with a black pencil. Today I'm going to use the MAC TECHNAKOHL pencil. I'm choosing this one specifically over one of my Urban Decay pencils because these don't dry down as quickly, and I can move it and smudge it out in the lower lash line better than I can with one of the longer wearing 24/7 pencils. So I'm gonna put this through my waterline, but I'm also gonna bring it down through my lower lashes, and then I'm gonna quickly blend that in with a brush, which will serve as the black base for the bottom half. Anybody else get really nervous when you have to blend something out quickly? I like panic. I'm gonna take the shade Heartbeat on my BH number 7 again and just blend the edge of that with that and connect that shape up into the top. I don't know if this was the easiest order to do this in, but it's the order we're doing it. And blend the edge with a clean blending brush. Gonna go back in with that number 7 again and go into the shade Heart just like we did on the top and add a little warmth with that red. Similarly to the top, I'm gonna use the shade Commitment, but this time I'm gonna use it on the outer half instead of doing like a halo effect with it. And on the inner half, I'm gonna go in with Passion on the same brush, and I'm just gonna drag it over where we put down that black. That way it almost kind of like highlights toward the inner corner without being like a very bright highlight. Just bring a little tiny bit more light to the area. Okay, I put on House of Lashes Midnight Luxe, which they go chef's kiss beautifully with this look. I finished up my skin details as always in the description down below, and for the lip, I think the best way to treat this is going to be to go with like a mauve tone, but keep it very, very simple, very unstructured, and a little bit glossy. So I'm just gonna go in with the gloss on its own. This is the full-on lip polish from BUXOM in the shade Dolly. It's got a plumper in it, nice and shiny. It's the right color. I think it's gonna be good. And this is the second look. First of all, I think I somehow really achieved the bizarre description that I set out to make this look meet. I do feel like a 2019 glam Gerard Way. As far as the palette is concerned, I'm impressed. Honestly, the mattes in here blend so well. Like, it's impossible not to blend them nicely. They work so well. As far as Valentine's themes are concerned, this color story is right up my street. This look, I'm kind of in love with it, and I'm high-key very, very sad that I have to photograph it and then wash it off and get ready to go to the gym. I am probably going to recreate this again over the weekend just so I get the chance to wear it out somewhere, because I feel sultry and fun and I'm excited to look like this. Do you know what I mean? Do you know when you put your makeup on and you're like, yeah, that's me. That's me in the mirror right now. That's how I feel in this look. Packaging on this is very high quality, and honestly, I think this $65 price point feels right for these palettes. They are definitely still expensive. You can definitely get cheaper palettes that are just as good, but the overall quality and feel of this, I don't feel ripped off paying $65 for it, if that makes sense. This is only the second time I've ever done a NATASHA Denona video on this channel, so feel free to chime in the comments and let me know, do you like her formula? Do you think the NATASHA Denona formula in the larger palettes is worth over $100? For me, once I see the price tag go over like 70 bucks on eyeshadows, I'm like, maybe not. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like because it's very helpful. If you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe because, you know, reasons. Realistically, I would just love to have you around for more videos. I think we'd have a good time. I have a lot of exciting looks planned already for the coming weeks, and I would love to share them with you. If you feel like keeping up with me between videos, I'm at Miss Quinface on Instagram. I'd love to have you over there. I keep my stories updated all the time pretty much lately. I've been really good about my stories lately. I've been sharing all sorts of shit, and I post a fun little thing to my feed here and there as well. I think you'd like it. I think it's a good time. I hope you enjoyed these two looks. Thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk about makeup with me today. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one. Frivolous. Come on, Nicole. Come on. Get it together. Get it together. Dun, dun, dun. Get it together.